Guys, so a couple of months ago, I asked a guy that I used to be in cahoots with, right? I was like, do you miss me? And obviously, simple question should be, obviously, yes. Like, obviously, I miss you. Hello. No, no, he didn't say that. He switched it around and he goes, Jamie, he's like, that's a hard question. I go, how is that a hard question? That's so easy. It should be yes. And he goes, do I care about your well-being? Yes. Do I care what you're doing on a Saturday night? No. Oh my God. Shot to the heart. Literally shot to the heart. Why was I more upset that he didn't care what I was doing on a Saturday night than my well-being? Like, the brain doesn't always brain up here, and it's like, my well-being is just fine. Like, why can't you not care about what I'm doing on a Saturday night? I would rather you care about that. Anyway, that's all. Okay, bye.
Man, you are one pathetic loser. No offense.
Cahoots, seriously? You're just gonna go ahead and culturally appropriate another fun word just to describe your painfully pathetic excuse of a love life? You know what? Sure, why not? Have at it. You might as well at this point. Your life is so dull and lifeless that you have to resort to reaching out to your former pork partners just to get a little validation. The best part is you can't even do that right without screwing it up. I mean, for the most part, nobody's gonna freaking care about what you're doing in your free time because it usually involves heavy drinking, reality television, or trying to convince Chad to take one for the team by taking you to bed again. Oh, that and blankly staring at the walls. Don't ask me how I know, but I can tell you excel at that particular sport.
Oh, you know that? Of course I do, sir. Everybody knows that. Of course we do, sir.
So I'm officially done with dating because you men are just absolutely atrocious. That's crazy! So here's some things I did today without thinking about men. I went to go see my friend. She was in a play. And now I just made this delicious salad and I'm going over to my girlfriend's for a girls' night. And here's another thing I'm not doing, reading the comments of my video because they're atrocious. Toodles.
Go, girl! You get it, girl! You hear that? You got it, girl!
You know what, woman? If you don't want people making fun of you for being pathetically single at your ripe old age, then maybe you shouldn't be setting yourself up for insults like you are right now. I mean, you went to a play that features your bestie, who is a clearly failed actress, and then you mixed up a salad to line up your stomach before going out to get plastered and praying that you can find that one young dude who's drunk enough to feed your ego and give you some attention. That's pretty much your life, and when you broadcast it to the world, you can't be surprised when schmucks like me find your cringe and make fun of you for it. And the best part is, I'm doing it under the rules with which you set. I'm not leaving a comment on your channel, so therefore, you have no right to be upset if you come across this. Plus, it also has the added benefit of you not having to squint your eyes to read anything that I post, so the reading glasses can stay in your purse next to your flask of 5 o'clock vodka. So if anything, I'm doing you the favor.
You're welcome. Hey, you're welcome. Hey, don't mention it. Use that freedom in any way you like.
I'm sorry, but I have no desire to see your boyfriend in your content. Like, none. And I feel like definitely not boyfriend. Like, if he's your husband and you've been together for a decade, I'm down to see him once, like on his birthday, as a treat to him. And I feel like he should have the energy of like when a bird gets trapped in the house. Like, I don't want them to come on here and have charisma and be like charming and be like, what's up guys? We're here to show you our outfits. Like, what? I'm like, who's he talking to? I've never met him before. And like, I get that you like him, but I feel like he should genuinely be deer in a headlights, scared, uncomfortable. Like, he shouldn't know where his own clothes are from. He shouldn't know where the camera is. Like, if you're like, oh, they want to meet you, he should be looking like camera 1, camera 2, I don't know.
You serious?
Well, that's just fine, sweetheart. We get where you're coming from. You hate being reminded that you screwed up at life so badly that you couldn't get a man even if you tried. And if you're going to be reminded that you somehow were able to become something that can only be described as homogeneously unappealing to everybody, you'd rather have that blow softened by having that man emasculate himself on camera just to make you feel better. Well, that ain't happening, darling. Those dudes are going to present themselves in any way they see fit, and they're not going to care about your fifis. Why should they? They're not the ones who failed at life. And I honestly think if you're gonna make these kind of demands, they should probably be a bit more reasonable. Take me, for instance. Just like you have no desire to see any of these dudes, I have no desire to ever see you naked. And I honestly think that goal is not only more reasonable, it's also a hell of a lot more realistic and a lot more sanitary to boot.
That's funny because it's so true.
I keep seeing all these studies and think pieces about how Gen Z is having less sex than all other generations, like historic low, how Gen Z doesn't drink wine, is drinking less wine than all generations, historic low, how all of Gen Z is dressing like very demure and covering up, and how like the average person reads less than one book a year. And I just want to say, count me out for all of those. Count me out for all those statistics. I don't relate. I'm not part of your source group. I don't want to be included in that narrative. I'm Gen Z. If there's a chance for me to expose parts of my body as I dress, confirmed. I don't want to be demure. I don't want to be mindful. I'll be drinking wine. Like, I'll have the wine. I'll be learning about the wine. I'll be enjoying the wine. I love a glass of wine. It's a story. I don't know what you're not understanding about that.
Wine was invented by the Romans for orgies. And orgies are not too much fun if no one wants to do with you.
Alright, I'm not gonna lie, gentlemen and gents. I have no idea what the Gen Z kiddos are up to. I don't know what they wear, or what they watch, or if they get into macaroni and cheese arguments over which pasta style is preferred, spiral or dinos. I'm a spiral guy because I'm right. And I don't know their opinions on carpenter jeans or how many AA batteries they got stored away in case of Zombageddon. I mean, that's their business. But whenever I hear stories of Gen Z making decisions that don't involve completely destroying their bodies and minds with alcohol and meaningless hedonism, I gotta give those kids a little tip of the cap. Now, sister, if you don't want to be associated with your fellow Gen Zers, I mean, that's fine. We entitled millennials don't discriminate. It's not like we can really tell the difference anyways. You look like you're 37 years old because your face has that artificial plaster look, your forehead is wide enough to be able to safely land a squad of Apache helicopters, and you're already trying to justify your alcohol abuse. And if that's truly what you want to do with your life, then have at it. We're not going to make fun of your generation for it. We're just going to make fun of you as a stupid individual because that's just how we roll as entitled millennials.
The sex thing, yeah, okay. That's all I'll say there. Can't relate. And then the books, definitely can't relate on that either. So I don't want to be associated with those statistics because I keep hearing about them. Gen Z's not having sex. Gen Z's not drinking wine. Gen Z is dressing like pilgrims. Gen Z doesn't read. Gen Z's illiterate. No, I'm good. Count me out. I don't want to be grouped in. Like, frankly, I'll go associate with the millennials because they're having sex, drinking wine, dressing a little slutty, and I think they're reading. At least they might be. They're definitely not teaching their kids how to, though. So, sorry, someone had to say it.
Whoa.
Well, if it's your dream to associate yourself with a gaggle of women who peaked in their sophomore year in college and have been mainlining alcohol, vape juice, and crippling sadness ever since, well then don't let us stop you. I mean, you're not going to be associated with the millennials. It's just not happening for you. You look like reading a Goosebumps novel is too complicated of a piece of fictional literature for your fragile mind to comprehend, and you're pretty much demanding getting some kind of praise for making every wrong decision you could possibly ever think of. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to drink, not endlessly hooking up with dudes, and dressing so we don't have an exact idea of what your chesticles look like. In fact, having a little restraint could do you some good, but apparently that's just asking too much of someone like you. So if you want to be a life failure, then be our guest. We're not going to stop you, but that won't stop us from endlessly trolling you for making some of the dumbest decisions imaginable.
You stupid.
All right, this one's for the boys. I was just at the gas station, had a guy standing in line next to me do the full look me up and down while I have my arm full, and then he walked through the door in front of me and did not open it. What is wrong with people in this world? Like, you literally just stared me up and down, looking at me, and then walk through the door in front of me and do not even blink an eye at holding the door. Like, and I know there are women out there that complain about chivalry and stuff like that. Screw that, throw it out the window. Open the fucking door for me. I have a broken arm.
No.
Sister, if you're gonna lie about this whole thing, could you at least do your best to refrain from insulting what little intelligence we have left? I mean, we all know you're lying. Now, I understand that doors are such an advanced piece of technology that you just can't seem to figure out, and yes, that is something you'd be deeply ashamed of, but spewing out all of these lies aren't gonna do you any favors. Now, contrary to popular belief, doors were not invented by Donald Trump, nor were they designed by the patriarchy to keep you from being able to buy socks until 1952. Doors are our friends and they do wonderful things, and we as men know this. That's why we have no problem opening up our own stupid doors and utilizing door theory to the betterment of our own lives. And you could too if you just took a second to understand that it takes less brain power to open up doors than it does to create these elaborate lies about buying enough merchandise at a freaking gas station to overwhelm your ability to carry things, or the fact that you think we're dumb enough to know that your arm is sporting a brace, not a cast. So it's clearly not broken, and it's not our job to make your life easier when you're dead set on making our lives worse for no reason. So yeah, it's your door, it's your problem, sweetheart. Give yourself a few decades. I'm sure you can get around to accidentally how to figure out those things.
Good luck.
I've been talking about how I want to find my husband in the wild rather than online or on a dating app. But the thing is, I don't think I've been putting myself in enough positions where I could actually meet him. I go to this coffee shop almost every day in Boston, but I never actually sit down and enjoy my coffee because honestly, I'm kind of scared to sit alone. But today, I forced myself to actually sit in a more populated area of the cafe just to see what would happen. And to my surprise, someone actually came up to me and asked what I was reading. He asked if he could sit down for a minute, and I responded yes. This interaction was equally as surprising as it was refreshing because I did not think anyone would come up to me. So anyway, he asked for my phone number, so I wrote it down on my little notepad and gave it to him. Guys, I was so flustered after this interaction, but I could not believe that happened. I was not expecting someone to actually approach me. And I think the universe rewarded me for putting myself out there because I got a free cookie on the way home. I think I might do this whole putting myself out there thing again, so make sure to follow along.
Congratulations!
Sorry, woman. It wasn't the universe telling you to do anything. It's your terrible script writing abilities. I mean, let's just think about this for a second. You never leave your house without your selfie stick and your tripod so you can make those incredibly weird poses that you and your kind love to do. You sit down at a coffee shop to record yourself for 30 minutes just randomly scribbling gibberish when all of a sudden some random dude who's incredibly attractive that we don't even see just interrupts your book reading time to have a conversation. But I thought that was toxic masculinity-isms or something. You also had your camera at such a perfect angle that there would be no way to prove if there was a dude there or if you were just faking it because parasocial relationships with your imaginary friends are still more realistic than you going out there and trying to get some real ones. Everything about this just screams fake, but you're a modern woman. If there's anything real about you, it's purely accidental.
It's a fake.
How to ruin his life from a certified motherfucker. Okay, let's do this. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna get a piece of paper and you're gonna write his number or copy it on said paper as many times as you want. You're gonna start dropping said pieces of paper all over town. Even better, buy a pack of keys and do it with that. Keys are a common thing to lose, so I guarantee he'll think nothing of it. Next, tell everyone what he did with receipts. You're gonna tell everyone what he did because then if you try and go back to him, you're gonna look embarrassing as hell. And two, like, how is he gonna argue with receipts? He can't. Well, I mean, you can, but you're just gonna look crazy doing so. Next, what you're gonna do, stop talking about him to everyone. Like, act like he's dead. Because then while he's trying to repaint the narrative of you, you're like, who is this? Like, it's not ringing a bell. I have no idea who you're talking about. That's what you're gonna say. Because do you have any idea who they're talking about? No. It wasn't who you thought it was anyways, otherwise y'all would still be together. So, I don't know. Next. And once you've completed all of that, what you're gonna do is you're gonna go start talking to someone else. You're just gonna move on really quick, fast, and in a hurry because he didn't really mean anything and he did nothing for you. And then repeat.
Hey, man. I know guys on crack that makes more sense than you.
All right, so your plan is an act of doxing followed by rampant lying, denial, and revenge porking sessions? Alright, I guess I'm failing to see how this is gonna get back at this guy. And actually, come to think of it, I don't see the point in any of this. Like, what is this trying to prove here? I don't see how you can claim that this is the best way to get back at someone when you're flaunting around credentials as a certified mother humper. And you didn't get these certifications anywhere, because I've been asking around every single humpery board and no one's ever heard of you. I mean, I got the description down pat. Annoying voice, presumptuous attitude, and a forehead wide enough for at least 3 billboards. And from whatever it is, you've been laughed out of every single one of these boardrooms after they realized you couldn't even spell the word win without completely screwing it up. So sorry, sister, the cat's out of the bag on this one. You got no certifications to flaunt, and all you're doing is giving legit certified mother humpers a bad name. And when you consider how pathetically easy it is to get one of those certs, it really does prove how much of a failure you are at life, darling.
You have failed conclusively. It's over. And there is nothing that you can do here in this room that can turn that around.
I feel like I've seen so much on TikTok lately about how important it is to actually prioritize living your life, to not act like you're an 85-year-old grandma when you're 25, to prioritize, you know, your friends and having experiences and making memories and like going out and living your life. I feel like I have been so conscious of prioritizing that because I don't want to look back when I'm like 65 and be like, why was I prioritizing getting 10 hours of sleep at night when I was 25? Like, I have so much time to do that. With that in mind, I was at a girls' weekend with a couple of my college friends this past weekend. I've been graduated for a couple years, and whenever we all get the chance to be together, which isn't very often, it's like the most amazing, magical thing ever. And that was this past weekend. We had a little reunion. We had so much fun together. I had a extremely early flight out on Sunday morning. So this morning, I started at 6:30. So I needed to leave my friend's apartment at like 5:30. But we also wanted to go out that night. We wanted to have a fun time. And I was like, you know what?
No, and I don't care.
You know, maybe I'm wrong on this one, but I really don't think that your 65-year-old self is going to be looking back at you and condemning you for not partying enough. I honestly think that individual is going to be freaking out that she's 65, she has no friends, no family, no husband, and working 60 hours a week at a job she can't stand, and wondering why she was too stupid to realize that she didn't take any legitimate steps to make her future even remotely comfortable. This whole carpe diem philosophy is for the freaking birds. And that's not to say that we don't have some stories, but woman, you're at the point in your life where you should have some things figured out, and the only thing you're trying to figure out is an excuse as to why you don't want to go to bed at a reasonable hour, just so you can have one more night of binge drinking with your aged out college besties. I mean, if we're being perfectly honest, there's no need to normalize that. We're pretty much living in a time where your 30s are a last-ditch forbearance just to act as immature as you want before the realization that you completely botched up your life.
I could choose to prioritize getting sleep. I could go home early. I could not spend this time with my friends, even if it's just a few extra hours, but I'm not going to. Like, I want to spend time with them. I want to go out and live my life, and I want to make memories. So that's exactly what I did. And it was literally such a fun night. Like, we stayed out really late, and then we came home and made corn dogs and ate Trader Joe's Crunchy Curls and chatted, and it was so amazing. I did sleep for maybe 1 hour, if that. Was it so fucking painful to wake up? Yes, my eyes like hurt, like physically hurt. But I called my Uber, got to the airport, made my flight, and like today wasn't that bad. It's like, wow, like I can still do these things. Like I'm still only 25. Like I can still sleep for an hour, go out, sleep for an hour, and then have like a full next day. And like, it's not that bad. So yeah, this is your sign to go out and live your life.
What?
Live your life? Woman, you're 25. You're way too young to be trying to give out advice, but you're way too old to be looking for an excuse to get pathetically drunk with your brood of fellow life failures. You're trying to paint this as an epic moment in your life that's going to stick with you forever. But woman, you went on a 2-day bender. You got drunk, you stayed out late, and subsisted on a hefty diet of corn dogs and rampant denial. We're not talking about backpacking through Europe here. Yeah, it'd pretty much be the same thing, except with the heftier price tag. You're not doing anything of any real note. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel to find excuses to treat your body like a dumpster. And you're an adult. You don't need an excuse to do that. You're just trying to find a reason to make it seem like your decisions aren't all that bad. But answer me this, woman. If what you're doing is so great for your life, then why do you need to go on a self-indulgent rant to justify it? Well, that answer's fairly simple. You know it's wrong, but you got nothing better to do, and apparently making speeches to justify you failing everyone in your life is somehow better than doing nothing at all. Here's a fun fact about the fine members of the bounty board. These fine folks have drastically increased their chances of having an opportunity to consider possibly owning a nicely sized walk-in closet of moderately used keytars. And if you ask me, that's kinda sweet. All hail! If you're interested in supporting the channel, check out the bounty board over on Patreon, where $5 a month gets you access to exclusive content you're not going to find on YouTube. Links in the pinned comment down below if you want to check it out. And that's going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button, ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and be sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you once again for checking out the new video, gentlemen and gents, and until next time, peace out, homies.